Hey everyone, we're down at the Thumpstar workshop doing another parts information video. Hopefully help you guys out and let you guys make a decision when you're buying parts or buying a bike. Today we're going to be talking about rear wheels, which is quite a big one, as guys can get into trouble if they have the wrong wheel for the wrong type of riding application. So we're going to start off with rims, as the rims are quite a major. There's two types of rims you're going to get, your aluminium and your steel rims. The steel rims are on a lot of your cheaper bikes out there and they can be problematic. They're fine just for guys learning to ride, you know, just not going too hard on the bikes, just cruising around. But as soon as you start racing and doing jumps, then they're not really ideal. The problem is with the steel rims is just, yeah, they're thin steel, and if you crank your spokes up too much, the spokes can pull through, and then, you know, if you leave them too loose, then you get into problems there as well. So it's kind of a catch-22. Like, they're fine just for mucking around, but yeah, I wouldn't really use them for any kind of serious riding. All our new Thumpstars all come out with 6 series aluminium rims on the rear, which is just to make the bikes to get the absolute max out of them. So I'm going to sort of show you the difference here between a steel rim and alloy rim, so you can tell for yourself. So here, as you can see, the aluminium rim has got a big flat surface here, and it's flat. It's not rounded at all. But then if you look over here at the steel rim, it's actually rounded, and that actual rim surface there is quite a bit smaller. So hopefully you can tell by that video the difference, but that's what to look for. So if you're buying a new Thumpstar or any kind of mini bike or pit bike, and even a second-hand one, just ask the question, does it have steel rims or alloy rims? Because it is a big factor, and you definitely want to go for at least 6 series or 7 series rim. The next thing we're going to talk about is the actual hubs themselves, which is another thing where guys can get into a few problems. These hubs here are probably the best kind of design in value for money, with the 15mm axles. They've been around for years, and it's a good design. You can get a lot of other different types of designs, but yeah, I wouldn't really recommend them. But I mean, if that's what your bike's got, that's all you can really put on it, unless you start mucking around. Like the older Thumpstars, the sort of ones sort of like 2004 up to sort of 2007, they use the sort of old school kind of hub with the 12mm axle, and it's actually really hard to source those old wheels now. So a lot of guys have to put these rear wheels on their old Thumpstars. So the thing is, if you want to buy one of these rear wheels for your Thumpstars, you want to make sure it's got actually a 12mm bearing in it, not a 15mm. Because if you put a 15mm, try and put a 15mm axle on an old Thumpstar that runs a 12mm, it's just more hard work. You have to drill your swing arm out, drill your brake caliper out. It's just a hassle. So try and get one with the 12mm bearings. You can't just put 12mm bearings into a 15mm bearing hub either, because basically the outside diameter is different. So also, if you do want to put one of these type wheels on your old Thumpstar, you're going to have to probably change your spacers too, because the spacing will be different. Worst case scenario, you might have to get an engineer involved, and if you do that, you know, it might be an hour's labour and they'll have it all fitted up for you and ready to go. So yeah, next thing we're going to talk about is the actual sprocket. So we recommend a 428 sprocket if you can. It's not a big deal putting a 428 sprocket on a 420 bike. All you have to do is replace the front sprocket, chain and rear sprocket, and then you're running a 428 setup. The reason I say 428 is just it's more heavy duty. You know, it can the chains take doesn't stretch as easy. It's just a stronger setup, in my opinion. And generally 420 and 428 chains and sprockets all cost the same size, so why not use a more heavy duty one? So the other thing to look for is the actual bolt applications. These here are locking tabs. So how this works is your bolt goes in here, and then the wee tabs fold up to hold your bolt in place, which stops it coming loose, which can be a big problem. Also recommend using a bit of Loctite on the bolts just to help them in there. And if you can do this, like some wheels you can, some wheels you can't. Like on the CNC one here, you can actually put nuts on the back as well. So if I put a longer bolt in there with a nut on the back, it is a stronger design. This is the other style you get. It's just the Allen key sort of cat head bolts. These bolts not as good design, because they can come loose easy. You definitely want to run the locking tab if you can. The new 2016 Thumpstars though, we've actually designed a new rear hub for them. They'll still fit all the old Thumpstars, but They're basically going to have 5 bolts and also actually have tapered bolts in them with the mechanical lucky nut on the back, the same as the motocross bike. So it's going to be a heap stronger setup, and yeah, we're really looking forward to them coming out. Last of all, we're going to say is about the discs. I mean, all the discs are pretty much the same. They'll pretty much fit any pit bike. They all run the same step bolts. They're kind of a funny wee bolt. You kind of have to buy them specialised for the bike. But yeah, they're all the same basically. Just yeah, you have to buy them from, you can't just go down and buy them from your local shop. But the only thing to really look out for on the discs is actually your diameter. Some of them are about sort of 220, the other ones are sort of around 200 millimeters. So just measure your disc and make sure you put the right diameter disc on it, because otherwise it will hit on your caliper, which just causes you more problems. So yeah, apart from that, that's probably the most of it on the wheels. So yeah, hopefully that information helped you out a bit with deciding on what kind of wheel to buy and what kind of bike to buy. Thanks for watching.